This is WFYI News Now. It's June 26th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, signs show support for clean energy on both sides of the aisle in the U.S. Senate. Why Indiana University could lose hundreds of degree programs. And some residents are concerned about the proposal for a massive data center development on the south side of Marion County.
So I ultimately said, well, I need to be in this conversation. If the only way to do that is to sign the NDA, then I'll sign it.
Those stories coming up, but first. The state of Indiana's lawsuits against TikTok can move forward after the Indiana Supreme Court decided not to take on the social media company's appeals. Brandon Smith reports that comes after the justices heard arguments for an hour Tuesday on the issue.
The state sued TikTok in 2022, arguing it violated Indiana's Deceptive Consumer Sales Act. It said the app exposed children to inappropriate content and did not adequately inform users that their personal information could be exposed to the Chinese government. The trial court said the state didn't have any jurisdiction over TikTok, but the Indiana Court of Appeals disagreed. Attorneys for TikTok and the state made their arguments to the Indiana Supreme Court Tuesday, and just a few hours later, the justices decided to deny transfer of the case, meaning the Court of Appeals opinion stands and the state's lawsuits against TikTok can move forward. Two justices, Jeffrey Slaughter and Christopher Goff, voted to take the cases. None of the justices explained their decision. I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
Advocates for federal clean energy tax credits are speaking directly to U.S. senators through ads, including Todd Young of Indiana. The credits help pay for everything from solar and wind projects to nuclear and carbon storage. Rebecca Thiel reports ads from at least 3 different groups show their support for clean energy on both sides of the aisle.
All of the ads mention how the tax credits lower electric bills, create jobs, and keep U.S. manufacturing globally competitive. The campaign Built for America takes a more conservative bent. The Coalition of Industries is more concerned about ensuring the U.S. is an economic powerhouse than avoiding climate impacts.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in Indiana.
Its executive director, Mitch Carmichael, says his state of West Virginia created more than 1,000 manufacturing jobs with the help of clean energy tax credits, including at a battery plant and a solar-powered microgrid.
There's nothing more conservative, really, than providing low-cost taxes on businesses that are creating jobs and onshoring manufacturing.
Todd Young sits on the Senate's Finance Committee, a key committee looking at the reconciliation bill. I'm Rebecca Thiel.
Indiana University could lose hundreds of degree programs as part of compliance with an array of new laws affecting higher education. One of those laws require public colleges and universities to eliminate programs with low enrollment numbers, averaged over a 3-year period. The cutoff is 15 graduates for a bachelor's degree, 7 for a master's, and 3 for a doctorate. Based on federal data from 2023, around 200 BA, MA, and PhD programs at IU Bloomington fell short of that rule. IU has not commented on programs at risk. Some faculty say they don't know what to expect. President-elect of the Bloomington Faculty Council, Heather Aku, says she hasn't heard anything from the university, but that it's aggressively moving to get in line with the law.
There are going to be big changes for this university, and the pace at which this is being pushed through is just really, it's not designed for positive outcomes.
Most low enrollment degrees are in the humanities and languages. Jewish studies, classical studies, and multiple language departments could lose their main offerings. The university declined an interview, but spokesperson Mark Bodie wrote in an email, quote, IU is working with campus leaders to comply with the process mandated by state law. And for our final story today, some Franklin Township residents are concerned about the proposal for a massive data center development on the south side of Marion County. And as Farah Anderson reports, they say they feel they're being kept in the dark about the project's details.
Data centers are buildings that store and process digital information, and demand is growing with the rise of AI. The developer behind the proposal wants to rezone more than 400 acres for a data center, but the identity of the tech company hasn't been made public. WFYI found that at least one city-county councilor, Michael Paul Hart, has signed a non-disclosure agreement related to the deal. Hart, who represents the district, says he did it to get a seat at the table.
So I ultimately said, well, I need to be in this conversation. If the only way to do that is to sign the NDA, then I'll sign it.
Residents say they don't have crucial information, including plans for water and power use. These centers use lots of water to cool their devices and may raise utility prices and affect the environment. I'm Farrah Anderson.
The rezoning request is scheduled for a public hearing today before the city's Metropolitan Development Commission. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.